setting out on another afternoon adventure, and right off the bat we're quite lucky. We've got some evidence here of lion. You can see there's some really nice tracks here. And then some fresh urine, still moist. And a lot of places where you can see the tail hairs have created this pattern in the sand. Now there's quite a lot of this here up and down the road, and we're definitely going to spend the rest of our afternoon drive trying to see if we can locate on these animals. We've stumbled onto this buffalo bull having a wallow. This guy's rubbing his head against the mud there. If you remember correctly from one of the earlier episodes, we discussed mud wallowing with the thick-skinned animals, and referring back to that, the two main functions were temperature regulation, so cooling the body down, and external parasite control. I'm not sure what happened there, but it's as if he got a fright for that little Mopani stump next to him there. It was maybe in his blind spot, and when he noticed it was there, he wasn't sure how to react. So we weren't lucky with the lion tracks, but we've decided to come to this big dam here where you can see there's a lot going on, many birds. There's some hippo which we'll focus on a little bit later. You can see just peacefully how this yellow-billed stork is walking through the water here, hoping to shuffle up some crustaceans and frogs and the like to feed on. Right, you can see us focusing in on the spoonbills sitting on top of the tree there in the water. And those peculiar nests there are not theirs, they belong to a group of birds called red-billed buffalo weavers. They keep adding to those nests continuously, just making them bigger and bigger. Communal nesters, so there's several pairs that would nest in one community like that. We're looking at a pied kingfisher there. It just caught this fish and is sitting on the branch feeding on it. It's not very common to notice that, so it's really nice. Starting to get a little bit darker now. Lovely sunset. Beautiful time of the day at the dam. The hippos will also be starting to think about moving out the water a little bit later on to go and graze for the evening. Hippos are grazers, meaning they feed on grass predominantly, also some reeds often in their diets. A lot of people are not aware of that, and it's especially if you see one out the water, see their size, people are surprised to think that such a big animal just feeds on grass mostly. And then they'll come back to the water early hours of the morning. Vultures frequently drink water, fresh water, and they're often seen around dams in times when it's really hot, and then after they've fed on a kill, they like coming down to the water and bathing and cleaning their feathers. Every substantial water body in the savannah has these little three-banded plovers. You can hear some guinea fowl coming in. So they're flying off to their roosting sites for the night. You can see them getting perched in the trees over there on that little island. Very safe for them. Being ground-dwelling and nesting birds, very much like the francolins, they make sure that they sleep in trees at night where they're not too easily preyed upon. So they want to get away from being surprised on the ground by an African wildcat or a genet, a couple of the other smaller cat species that prey on guinea fowl. Just looking at the moon there, the moon's busy waxing, meaning increasing in size towards culminating into the full moon, which is a beautiful time in the bush. You often can almost drive around without having to put your lights on. You can still see where you're going. It gives a lovely eerie feel and atmosphere just to the experience when you're driving around on moonlit nights. What a beautiful, peaceful afternoon it is, going into evening like this, setting sun. We're just going to sit for a little bit and listen to all the wonderful sounds around us. You have to remember and understand, and I've mentioned this before in one of our episodes, that a safari has to be experienced by you actually being here. It's wonderful to see these episodes on camera, but ultimately the sounds and the smells and just the wonderful feeling that's created by this incredible ecosystem has to be experienced personally. So we're really looking forward to seeing you here when all of this is over and you can travel to Africa to realize your lifelong dream of going on safari. We stumbled onto these two scrub here in the road here. Exactly where they belong. They're nowhere else as common as they are on the roads at night when you're doing a game drive, and then you struggle for half an hour trying to persuade one to get out of the road so that you can continue on your journey. But we'll just put the lights off and then let them go.